One day I was hiking up the North Kaibab Trail, just above the Coconino Overlook, approaching the spot where the trail first switches back to the north and east. I spotted a faint but intriguing trail leading off from the main trail right at the switchback, and it led me to here, in a bit of open space but surrounded by nearly waist-high gamble oaks. I was standing at the edge of a small cliff. Looking off to the southwest, I then saw, as we do now, that I was dead level with the top of the imposing Coconino sandstone cliffs. So I thought I must be at the top of the Coconino right here as well. But looking down at the rock underneath our feet, we do not see Coconino. The rock is hard and pitted, unlike the Coconino, which is smooth and undulating. I was, in fact, still some distance up in the Toroweap Formation, and the rock at my feet was limestone. Looking down and out from this spot, I could see the edge of another cliff, and the rock at the top of it did look like Coconino. That's where the top of the Coconino really was, and is, down a drop of some 50 feet or so, even though it looks like we are level with the top of the Coconino here. Let's look again at the geological map for this area, with the orange dot marking our location. The big parallel black lines are the two fault lines of the Roaring Springs Fault, and we are in the space in between them. Notice the narrow tan band of Coconino sandstone on the map, and see the jog towards the lower right that it takes between the fault lines. The elevation contour lines on the map, which are just about perpendicular to the fault, show that for the short distance between the fault lines, the Coconino, and all the other formations that the fault crosses, have dropped about 50 feet. We are in fact inside what is known as the Roaring Springs Graben. A graben is a block of rock that has been dropped relative to the rock that surrounds it. Over on the South Kaibab Trail, in a narrative for a location deep in the canyon and just above the Colorado River, we visited another much older graben, the Cremation Graben, that was formed when an ancient supercontinent, Rodinia, was ripped apart 1 billion years ago. But this graben, cutting through much younger rock formations, like the Toroweap and Coconino, just a mere 270 million years old, was formed much more recently. The Roaring Springs Graben drops the cliff band we are standing on that same 50 feet. The Toroweap Formation was created when an ancient sea came and went from this area a number of times, but the time it came and stayed the longest, it deposited a layer of limestone. We can see the cliff band formed by that limestone nearby, off to the northeast, and we see it continuing in a steady band off to the east below Uncle Jim Point. And you can still clearly see it as a narrow tan band just above the Coconino across Roaring Springs Canyon from us below Como Point. And we see it right here below us at our feet. If you are heading up the North Kaibab Trail from here, you pick your way back on the faint trail through the Gamble Oaks, then continue up the North Kaibab Trail to the last spot where we have an open view before heading into the dense North Rim forest for good. Heading down the trail, we will go just a short distance down to the Coconino Overlook, right under that tree, for our first truly spectacular view down into the canyon from the top of the sheer, high Coconino Cliffs.